You mean there are people who are doing that?
They are, Doc.
And selling it in stores?
Selling donkey meat as beef.
Doc, okay.
Okay,
That sounds scary.
When you go to the supermarket, the packaging should speak to us.
Okay.
And tell us the freshness of the food that is in there.
Now you are starting to speak Chinese. Now you're starting to speak a language that I don't understand. What do you mean?
When you're talking of the food fraud, you're talking about adding so many components.
Welcome to Educate Africa with Dr. Sanele Gamede. It's great that we are here once again, and we have another great episode with a great guest. And I'm saying great because this is one of my mentees, and it is quite inspiring to have your mentee doing great things. I have with me Dr. Bongekile, who is a food technologist, who's going to be with us and educating us. Remember, this is Educate Africa, so we are all about educating. But of course, we have a little bit of sense of humor there and there, but it's quite exciting to read your comments. I'm really, really happy. I must start there. But without wasting time, Dr. Bongekile, how are you doing?
I'm great, Dr. Sanele. How are you doing?
I'm awesome, and I'm actually excited that I'm having a conversation with you. And I promised that we have to have this conversation. And I have to say that because you are from eSwatini, and I'm excited that this is Educate Africa. And I have someone from eSwatini. Yeah. And I had, in my previous episode, one of the episodes, I had someone from Zimbabwe. Oh. So it is Educate Africa. And it is with Africans, which is very nice. Not that we don't want to be watched by someone outside Africa. We don't discriminate, but this is just purposefully designed to educate Africans. And you are doing something great. You are a food technologist. And I didn't know, I'm a career coach. But when I came across that, I was quite fascinated with there is something called food technology. How did you get into that space? Did you read a flyer and they said there is a course called food technologist? Was it a friend? How did you get, and what it is to be a food technologist?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Sanele. I'll start by explaining what is it to be a food technologist.
Yeah.
Okay, most of the time it's food science and technology.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
It goes hand in hand.
Okay.
Because you cannot be a food technologist without knowing the food science.
What do you mean when you say food science? The science behind?
Yeah, it's the science behind. You have to understand the chemical, the biological, and the physical composition of the food that you are dealing with.
I'm just thinking about cooking meal. What is the science behind?
You have to understand what is there.
Okay.
You have to understand what is the chemical composition of that food, the nutritional profile of that food.
Oh, okay. If I'm talking about rice and chicken as a meal, I need to know what are the ingredients.
What's in there that's going to boost your immune system.
Oh, okay. That's the science.
That's the food science. And you should know how these things interact when you are processing them.
Okay.
So then food technology is when you apply practical application of the food science during your processing, during your production, during your packaging, and during storage.
That's all of you guys.
Yes.
And then how did you get, I mean, you're from eSwatini. It is an amazing country, but it's one of the countries that are also struggling economically. It's out there. How do you then know about this cause?
Okay, I'm one person, Dr. Sanele, who sees an opportunity and grabs it.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, my previous degrees before I did the food technology.
Yes.
I did chemistry.
Oh, okay.
I did chemistry and I did food microbiology. Yes.
Big words. So you were a chemical engineer?
Not necessarily a
chemical engineer.
A chemist.
Oh, you're a chemist. You are reminding me, hey, how a chemist?
Yeah, it sounds like that, but no.
No, it's not that.
Here we're dealing with the chemical structures. As I've said that in food technology, in food science, you have to know what is in the food, the chemical, how they interact, those chemical structures, how do they change when you are processing your food. Yeah, so I did that. So when I got out of school, I got into agriculture.
Yes.
So agriculture, I was in the lab.
Okay.
Yes.
Learning about.
I was in the lab working.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I was in the lab, there was an opportunity to work in a food chemistry and food microbiology lab. So when I was there, I'm reading.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at opportunities, how to improve.
Oh, you were not a food technologist at the time.
Yes, initially.
So you are exposed by just an opportunity.
Then now you have to improve yourself in the field.
Okay.
That is how I got to do food technology.
And how did you discover? You did it at the University of Johannesburg, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you discover that it's being offered there, and you apply, they accept you. How was that journey?
Okay.
From being a chemist now to food technology.
There's nothing difficult, Dr. Sanele, when you put your mind on it.
She's a woman who's very serious. Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
You have been a hard worker.
I've been working hard all of my life.
I see.
So it wasn't that difficult. It was a new space, of course.
Yes.
So when you want to get things done, you put your mind on it, you focus, you know what you want to achieve at the end.
And speaking of achieving at the end, who is looking for food technologists?
Everyone, even you yourself. You can't do life without food technologists and food science.
What do you mean? Explain that. What do you mean?
In the morning,
I also need.
You in the morning you eat bread.
Yes.
There's food technology there.
Which means everywhere where they make food,
they need
a food technologist.
Yes, food science person. There's no food without food.
A food technologist.
Yeah, there's no food.
So are you the guys that put the labels behind the food, which labels how much energy, how much proteins, how much?
Of course.
That's you.
Yeah, we analyze your food.
And then you label.
We tell you what is in the food. So when you're going to the shop, in the shops,
you pick a pocket of snacks.
Yes, you have to know what is in there.
Oh,
that's
food technology and food technology.
Yes.
So meaning the food can't be in the shelf unless you guys have given a stamp.
True.
To say it is ready, it is good for consumption.
Exactly, and it's not just good. We are not dealing with quantity here, also with the quality, the safety of the food.
What do you mean when you say safety of the food?
I mean, we ensure that the food that is out there should be safe to eat. So whatsoever is in the food should be of nutritional benefit to you.
Oh, so you mean sometimes you do find food out there in the market that is not safe?
Yeah, there is.
And who gets punished when people eat? I mean, recently in South Africa, there were kids who died, who bought some snacks in tuck shops and all of that. Who should be punished? Is it you guys as food technologists? Who should be punished in that case?
Remember, Dr. Sanele, we as food technologists, you cannot be going to someone's private property.
Oh, okay.
So if ever there is your food out there that is of not good quality, it goes back to the producer.
Oh, okay. If they didn't hire a food technologist. So every production should hire a food technologist.
There should be someone who will be quality monitoring the food.
The manufacturing.
Yes, everything. Until it gets into the shelf.
It's quite a fascinating career, as you put it. So would you then, and now I'm giving you the camera, I want you to speak to a young person who is about to choose a career. Would you then say they can choose this career?
Of course, yes. Why not?
And what should they think about and what should they have if they are choosing this career?
One advantage of being a food scientist or food technologist, the diverse work opportunities, because you can work in the lab as a food technologist.
Yes.
You can work as a food microbiologist. You can work as a packaging technologist.
What do you mean a packaging technologist? Do I need to have a degree to package?
Of course.
Package food? What do you mean?
You have to understand. Remember, I said that the food during processing and everything, storage and everything, there's some interactions of some kind that's happening. Remember? So when you have to know what kind of packaging
are you using?
We are supposed to use with certain types
of food. So meaning, Dr. Bongekile, the type of plastic that is used to cover bread might not be the same type of plastic that you could use to cover oranges.
It's true. I'll give you, I wouldn't say it's an example.
Okay.
The packaging material on its own.
Yes.
There's some packaging material, when you put some kind of food, then they'll start leaching some of this its components into the food.
Oh, so I find my food rotten, not because it's rotten or ruined. It's because of the packaging.
The packaging we've used. And also you'll find that there's some now components in the food that leached from your packaging into the food, which are not supposed to be there.
This is a very exciting and interesting career to actually advise and make sure that you use the correct packaging. But Bongekile, there is someone who buys food on the streets. We love our brothers, sisters, grandmothers who are selling in the markets. How do I know that, this package, because umamanje, when they sell me avocados, they just do one plastic, and I say, I want plastic, and then they put into the plastic. How will they know which plastic to use? How would, as a consumer, be careful? And what should I look for when I go to the market? Especially because I go there, Doc, because I'm looking for fresh food. And I don't know if there is a food technologist that advise in the local market. What is the space? How can I navigate that space?
Dr. Sanele, that's truly a challenge. That's truly a challenge for us, because it's difficult to come with your science and tell Ugogo there that no, do not package your food like this.
Okay.
But
have you guys tried though to educate Okoko around this whole packaging?
There's a gap there.
Oh, okay. I'm happy that she's admitting.
There's a huge gap there.
What is causing that gap? Maybe is it Okoko not wanting to learn or adhere to what you are advising them, or you guys aren't available enough in numbers to educate them?
We are not visible
enough.
Scientists. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We are keeping the information to ourselves, because I believe if we can engage them and educate them on the dangers, they can surely change.
Yeah, because of course they want to sell. They are not there to kill people.
Yes,
I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah, there's still a lot that needs to be done on that aspect.
It's quite interesting. And what have you seen in the market when it comes as a food technologist? I'm sure as a food technologist, when you go there, you are always watched because you understand what can be, harmful and all of that. What have you seen in the market that people are doing wrong, either from consumers or from people who are selling?
Okay. One interesting aspect is the type of plastics they are using
to put food.
Yeah, to package your food when you go out there.
Okay.
Yeah. for the purposes of this podcast, I'm not to mention it. But the plastic that the mothers are usually using.
Yes.
It's made, it's recycled. It's a recycled plastic material.
Okay.
From material that is not safe for human consumption. As I've mentioned, some of these components from the plastic, they do leach into our food.
And kind of damage our food.
Damage us in the long run, because some of these chemicals have got accumulative properties. So you eat small today, tomorrow you're eating another small, it becomes big.
So are you advising me from not going to the local market, to the local vendor out there in the streets? Because that's another thing, Doc. The food sometimes is not covered in the market. You find fish fried, and then there are also flies that are flying around. What are you saying? Are we not supposed to go there?
No, I can't say we're not supposed to go there.
Okay.
Dr. Sanele.
Yes.
We have been through school.
Okay. Through that man.
So it's livelihood for others.
Yes.
The only thing that we can do, we can try to educate these street vendors on food safety. How to protect the food so that it can be safe for their consumers, for us as consumers.
And speaking of food safety, I know that you write for eSwatini, Times of eSwatini. You have a column there. You are specializing on advising the public about food safety. And there is someone like myself who might not understand what is food safety.
Okay, Dr. Sa, it's not food safety as such. It's food fraud, which
I begged you not to use these big words. It's food what?
Food fraud.
Food fraud or
food fraud.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Yes. So meaning, in other words, is something that is not supposed to be there is there.
Yes, and it impacts on food safety.
Which and food safety, are you referring in making sure that people are safe?
The food is safe to eat.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So you mean people should be arrested?
Yeah. People should be arrested
for feeding us
the wrong things.
And does that touches to how obese, how sick from time to time are we as human beings? Is it aligned to the types of food that we eat that is unsafe?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. I've always wondered that, you see, even 5-year-olds now, they are diagnosed with cancer. Where do they get that?
What do you mean? Is there a relationship with food?
Of course.
How? Please. Okay, this is scary and interesting at the same time. Please explain that. What is the relationship there?
Okay. Let's go back to the food fraud.
Okay.
When you're talking of the food fraud, you're talking about adding so many components, aspects that comprise it, that entails food fraud.
Okay.
One of them is to add something that's not supposed to be there. Well,
please explain to someone who doesn't, in a very simple, straightforward.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll give you an example.
Yes.
There's an article. Okay, there was a time in China, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah, whereby baby milk, baby powder milk.
Yes, okay.
They added a chemical called, is it melamine?
Okay.
On that milk, just to give it, to bulk it.
What do you mean to bulk it?
To give it volume.
Oh, to make it.
If it's 1 kg, they add the right components, 800 grams. Then they add something to make it a kg.
It's like adding water to milk so that you make it.
Exactly.
You mean there are people who are doing that?
They are, Doc.
And selling it in stores?
Selling donkey meat as beef.
Doc. Okay, that sounds scary. No, okay. Is it in the informal market, or can I find this dodgy stuff happening even in formal shops?
Mostly in the informal market.
Okay.
Remember, even Dr. Sanele can have a processing plant.
Is that allowed?
Behind at his backyard.
Is that even allowed?
It's not allowed, but it's happening.
Where I'm just kikizing polony there, I'm producing polony in quantities.
Yeah, instead of adding the meat and all the right ingredients to make it look red as it is red, you add all these unnecessary additives to give it color.
And then you call it food fraud.
Yeah, that's food fraud. That's most of the time that is what we are getting from this.
In mostly informal traders and informal productions that are not supposed to be, they need to be checked in a way.
Remember, everyone wants to maximize profits. So if ever you have your
they are going to hate you. They are going to hate you because I'm sure, as you are saying, everyone want to maximize profit. And that's where people are killed in the long run.
That's true. You are telling yourself you are buying wheat bread.
Yes.
There's only 80% wheat there. The rest is... it's
speaking about that. Oh, that's interesting. Speaking about that, sometimes you are buying and it's labeled 100% juice.
Exactly.
And when you taste it, it's like, this is not 100% orange.
No sugar added. But when you taste it, Is
that part of food fraud?
Yes, it is.
Which means big shops are to be found guilty then. Because we do buy stuff in like these big shops that I'm not going to mention their names, of course, where you buy juice and it says sugar free. But when you get home and you taste this, it's like, no way.
There's sugar there. Yeah.
Okay, Doc, is it because someone has been bribed? I know, in South Africa and everywhere in Africa, in most African countries, and even beyond Africa, people love to take bribes, to sign over something. Would you say it's because of fraud that happens within you guys as food technologists, or is it because of the backdoor kind of productions?
Not necessarily. Not all the time. There are companies, trusted companies. So sometimes as consumers or as supermarkets, we don't audit those people because we trust them.
Oh, you trust Dr. Gamede,
exactly.
You trust Dr. Bongekile, and you be like, trust me. You should trust me, by the way. You should. I'm not saying you shouldn't trust me.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's how.
Yeah. So that's how some of these things
they get. Hey.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily that you bribed someone.
No,
sometimes it's because I trust.
Exactly.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
I thought about this conversation that I'm going to have with this scientist, and I was thinking about the whole idea around the words. And yes, she has been kind, speaking simple. Okay, there was microbiology there, which is confusing, but she has been kind in breaking down some of these challenges that are happening, and I want to accuse you.
Okay.
I want to accuse you as a scientist with your fellow scientists, because what I have found, and I want maybe to hear your thoughts about it. What I've noticed is that you guys stay in the labs, create whatever that you are creating, and sometimes you struggle to then communicate it to us, because trust me, Doc, I buy the packet of chips and I read sometimes, and people don't read what is written, the labels, what is in there and all of that. But at the same time, Doc, I can't understand some of the things that the magnesium, the protein, what that is written. What can be done there if there is something that can be done? Because I find it tricky that you guys, even when you are given an interview, and when you have been quite amazing, because some scientists, to have a conversation with them, especially about their work, it's quite a struggle. What can you say there?
Dr. Sanele, it's quite a challenge to say. You can put it in simpler terms.
Okay, why?
Because magnesium is magnesium. Magnesium is magnesium. There's no any other way around it.
You think there is no other way
around it? How? Probably that one. It's a food for thought.
Yeah.
I think
maybe this is me chipping in. I mean, I'm a communication person through and through. Maybe we should bring language practitioners, linguistics, and people who create and deal with language, who understand language, and interpreters as well, to find a word that better describe magnesium, because there is a granny out there who can read but can't understand what is magnesium. But if it was written in eSwatini, it was going to be better. If it was written in isiZulu, maybe they could understand. Even educated people like myself. Even educated people like myself. And I'm sure you have seen educated people exposing themselves with lack of knowledge.
True.
So I think I'm challenging every scientist out there. I'm challenging every scientist out there to ensure that they find ways of breaking down whatever that they are doing. And speaking of breaking down whatever that they are doing, I know that you are doing amazing work. We spoke of about the work that you are doing. And please explain in simple words for my community so that they can understand what is it that you are doing in those labs currently. I know that you are busy working on something with colleagues. What are you busy with?
Okay, there's a lot of research that is happening.
Okay. There's a lot
of research that is happening. As I'm someone who's very passionate about the food we eat.
Okay.
I'm passionate about the issue of food fraud that is happening.
Yes.
So back at home, what I'm trying to do, I'm working with honey.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a lot that is happening with honey. Mm-hmm. So the honey, it's not 100% honey.
Not the sweetheart honey. The sweetheart.
The food.
Honey from bees. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So they're selling us 100% honey, but they're adding.
Yes.
So it's nothing honey there. It's only syrup.
It's just sugar.
It's just sugar. So what I'm trying to do is to collect honey from our local vendors and supermarkets.
Okay.
And go to the lab and see the quality of the honey.
When they are going to hate you. They are going to hate you. Okay. For what purpose?
I want us to know what we are eating.
Oh, okay.
We should get what's worth our monies that we're spending, so that if ever there's something really not, eat there, that's not it. We rather have our own bees.
Yes,
I
see.
Yes.
And I'm loving that, but I'm also just thinking by myself, thinking about one of the research that I once did, of course assigned by one professor that used to teach us back in the days, just to find out whether people do read. Do think about what they're eating. Do read the packaging. Do understand what they're eating before they eat. And do they record what they've eaten throughout the week, which is actually scary, by the way, if we were to record what we have eaten throughout the week. It's something fascinating, and it's as fascinating equally to this research that we spoke about around packaging that you were talking about, that you are busy with it. Maybe take us through what are you doing and why did you find it very important?
Okay. That whereby I'm working with the packaging.
Yes.
Yes, I'm collaborating, of course, with other researchers on that one. So in this one particular research, what I'm trying to do,
yes,
I want us, when we go to the supermarket, the packaging should speak to us, and tell us the freshness of the food that is in there.
Now we are starting to speak Chinese. Now we're starting to speak a language that I don't understand. What do you mean?
Yeah, it should tell you if the food is fresh. So the packaging that we're trying to develop, using neglected avocado seed.
Okay.
Yeah, because the avocado seed has got properties. It changes colors in different pH environments.
Oh, okay.
So if you incorporate that into a food packaging material, we are expecting that the packaging, when at a certain pH, should give a certain color. At a different pH, should give you another color.
Explain to Coco. What do you mean when you say at a certain pH, it should change color? What do you mean in layman terms, in simple terms? What are you trying to achieve? I know we spoke about this, and you left me confused. You said when food is rotten, the package should. What I didn't understand that. Please help me.
Okay. When the food is fresh,
yes,
it should give you a green color. I'm making an example. So
okay.
You know when you get into the shelf, you're looking for meat, and the packaging is still green. Then you know that the meat is fresh.
Yes. And then when the packaging changes its color
to something,
let's say yellow.
Yellow, yes. Then you know. Then what is packaged there? Yes.
Which means you are not going to lie to me and say, no, the meat is still fresh. No. The package is just going to... You are
not going to change expiry dates. The package will tell you.
Speaking about expiry dates, because people, food fraud, they change the expiry dates.
Yes.
So now you are not going to be able to change because the plastic or the packaging is going to
tell you the freshness of the food that is packaged.
eSwatini is very lucky to have you as a scientist there. It's quite fascinating that, of course, we are doing these with colleagues, I think, from the University of Johannesburg. It's quite a fascinating thing that you guys, sometimes I admire scientists. I mean, I judge you sometimes, but sometimes the stuff that you guys come up with, at face value, we think, Bongekile, they are crazy. But I mean, this is going to change lives.
It's true.
Because Ukoko, if they know that the package should be yellow when the food is still when it changes to green or when it changes to red, they will just know.
Exactly.
So we are not going to be able to rob them.
So even if you can't read, but the package will tell you.
Now you are talking. Now you are talking, because you guys have always been struggling to communicate your inventions and stuff like that as simple as possible. But you are coming up with something very simple. Even someone who can't read, when they see the packaging, things will change. And what are your hopes with this research?
I'm hoping someone out there will take it up
and design,
scale it up,
and someone who is really interested. I know there are big companies that are producing food. I think you have found your girl. I think you found your girl. And please shout out, because you found your girl on Educate Africa with Dr. Sanele Gamede. And that's all we are trying to do. We are bringing amazing people like her to educate us and share this amazing work. I know this is still under production. You are still working on
still
it.
In the lab.
Yes, and you guys stay forever.
Still in the lab.
Why do you stay? I mean, you guys produce vaccines. It takes 5 years. Why does it take this long?
You see, Dr. Sanele, it starts from the mind. Just an idea.
Okay.
Which you are not sure if it's going to work out.
Okay.
So you try this, it doesn't work, you try this. And you don't rest until you get what you're looking for.
After test.
Yes.
That's why
you optimize, you do everything. So it takes time.
And of course, you benchmark with what is existing out there. And you're also afraid other scientists are going to probably question that no, this thing is going to be very dangerous. And up until it's proven safe.
True.
And I think that's what you guys are big about, making sure that whatever that you invent, whatever that you come up with, it's safe for people. And speaking of safe, are there any times where as scientist you create something that is unsafe out there and you have to apologize? Recently, not long ago, they made us eat polony that wasn't... and then they had to apologize to say, no, let's recall those. Was it a matter of your mistakes as scientists or it was food fraud?
Not necessarily food fraud.
Okay.
Contamination do happen.
Oh, yes. Okay. Along the way. Some food gets exposed to...
So it's not always food fraud.
Oh, okay, yes. Okay.
For in the example that you are given, it was bacterial contamination. So it wasn't.
So it was also the issue of packaging when they were packaging, there was some exposure there.
Remember, it's a whole process from up until the consumer, from the factory, from the manufacturing plant. There's a lot of
a long way.
So there is potential for contamination during those processes.
I'm really excited for you, and I'm seeing the future being very bright for you, especially with your column that you have in the Times of eSwatini. And I just want to shout out to them for giving you that amazing opportunity as well. I mean, to educate Maswati about food safety and what they should look out there. And you are really doing amazing work, and I wish you all the best. And maybe we will come back once, I don't know how long, it might take 5 years. You will come back to Educate Africa and share that Sanele, finally, this thing has passed and it's ready. Please bring it back. Please bring it back and show it to us. But I'm seriously excited. And one last thing, what are some of the difficulties of being a scientist as a woman? I know sometimes people might think, what can she tell me? What are some of those difficulties that when you have found as a scientist, if there are?
The times have changed, I think, Dr. Sanele.
Okay. For you or for the younger ones? Things have changed, but back in the days, were they horrible?
They're even better for us.
Now?
For the younger ones, they'll even be better.
Oh, okay.
Now, we are occupying the space.
Okay.
On STEM, on science, technology.
Okay.
Maths.
Meaning you are not finding any challenges? Not
necessarily that we are not finding any challenges, but now we are perceived as scientists just like men.
Oh, okay. Yes. Are you saying you were not regarded before?
Not necessarily. Okay, science.
Yeah.
Has been always thought as being difficult.
Oh, okay. I will disagree with you. To me, it has always been difficult. Science and maths has always been difficult to me. What are you saying? It has been considered as difficult?
So it was considered as difficult. So women were not that capable.
Oh, they thought you guys are not capable.
But we have proven ourselves now. We can do it and do it better. As as women.
Hey! Okay, I'm letting her go because now she's starting to touch buttons, and then I don't want my supporters and my followers and people who subscribe to start, feeling like intimidated. I'm already intimidated, guys. Bongekile, you are doing something amazing, Doc. I must appreciate, and the fact that you studied science up until PhD, and you are a woman. And you still need to take care of your daughter and so many other things, your family and all of that. For me, that is amazing.
Thank you, Doctor.
Your last thoughts. Your camera is yours. Your last thoughts to people going out there to buy food. Your last thoughts, advice.
Okay. I've got two advices, actually, Dr. Sanele. The first one goes to women.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
The sky is the limit. The sky is the limit.
Okay.
Once you put your mind in it, if you want it, go for it. There shouldn't be limitations. I now have a family. Yeah. I now have kids. I now have, if you want it, go and get it.
Hey.
The fact that it's in you, it means that you have to get it.
Very interesting.
So go get it. Don't overthink about anything. What am I going to do with my kids? How am I, my family will disintegrate? Go for it. At the end of the day, the results are sweet.
The second one?
When it comes to food,
please
let us learn to read. Let us learn to read. And let us not be taken by claims like 100% natural. You have to question that.
Look, how is it 100%?
Yes. Organically grown. Question that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. You are throwing some stones right there.
Yeah. 100% juice. You have to ask yourself, read and understand. Because now there are tendencies whereby they no longer say sugar. They give it fancy names, sucrose.
Oh.
But that's still sugar. On the other hand, they're claiming there's no sugar, but there is sugar there. Let's educate ourselves. Africa, let's educate ourselves. Let's learn to read labels.
Exclusively, you got her from Educate Africa with Dr. Sanele Gamede. She has been amazing, dropping bombs, and you have heard her advice. Let's get educated. And that's the purpose of this podcast. Let's get educated. Let's learn to read as Africans. Let us expose ourselves to knowledge so that we don't find ourselves being exposed to food that is not of good quality. It has been a great honor to have her, and she has promised to come back and bring this amazing work that is doing. But your role on the other side is to subscribe, comment, and share with others. Let's grow this channel. Let's make sure that we tell a friend to tell a friend that we are on Educate Africa with Dr. Sanele Gamede. I will see you on the next episode.